Good afternoon and welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the main chat, and if you would like to join the debate live, there is a link in the info box below this video. As it stands, you'd be able to join the show and express your views on the shape of the Earth entirely unopposed, as there's literally only me here. My purpose, or my main purpose in being here, is to keep the debate cordial. There are only a couple of rules in the debate, so the first being please do not swear. If you do, you will be asked politely to stop, and if you continue, you will be ejected. So that's the first rule. If you are ejected, you will be warmly welcomed back on the second show or the next live stream. So basically the second rule is please do not try to return with sock accounts on the first stream. Other than that, you are, as I say, free to express your views on the shape of the Earth, be it concave, cell Earth, globe Earth, flat Earth, you name it. If you want to propose that the Earth is that particular shape or style or map or model, you are welcome to do so, as I say, at the moment, unchallenged. Eventually, there will obviously be people who contest your views, and when that does happen, this is where I will interject if you become a bit sweary and basically ask you to stop. But other than that, as I say, you are free to join as of now. Click on the link in the info box below this video. Once again, if you are new to this channel, be sure to click on the subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. What I'm going to do now is transition across to my photograph so I can share the link to the show on Facebook and Twitter and Skype and all those places. If you are currently in the live stream, I would be ask you kindly to do exactly the same. If you would be so kind, if you can share the link on Facebook, Twitter, Skype and any social media platforms. Feel free to share both the join link, which is in the info box if you would like to encourage people to actually join the show or the debate live, or indeed the link to watch the show. If you do join the show, please mute your watch page, so the page that you are currently looking at. If you click on the mute button before you press the link to join, that way we won't have horrible feedback. Last but not least, if you are in the Hangout, please mute your microphone if you are not talking, again just to avoid any feedback. So I'm going to leave you with my photographs. Guess the movie. Some of them are a bit easier than others, this one probably being one of those examples. And yeah, if there is dead air, this is chances are where that dead air will be. If you want to scroll through to where the debate begins, I will transition across to the debate screen with the live chat running along. Curved Water looks like he's in there already, who I'm going to give an apology to. But yeah, you can scroll through to where the debate begins. So with Curved Water, I booted him for swearing, and then in the following show, let Issa and Mr. Grimm V chat away swearing. And basically, my reason for not booting them is probably unjust as far as Curved Water is concerned, because I booted him for exactly that. So my apologies to you, Curved Water. It is a fine tightrope that I have to run when it comes to these things. I don't want to just end a conversation because two people have a natural patter that is sweary. You know, I appreciate that. But by the same token, once they got into debate and they had another guest on, I did explain to them that they need to stop swearing because it's becoming more heated. So, but Mr. Grimm and Issa, as most people who are aware of this show or any other show that's preceded it, they're well acquainted. You know, that's just their natural patter. They weren't arguing, they weren't becoming heated, and therefore I did not kick them for swearing. In these shows, because of you, Curved, it might be the case that I do, which will completely ruin the conversation. But it would be a homage to you and your complaint about exactly that. So my apologies though, Curved. You know, it's not that I want to boot anybody, it's just that's the rule I've decided to use as my excuse to do exactly that. And so far so good. Other than yourself, I've had absolutely no complaints from anybody about that particular issue. So as I say, I'm going to stop babbling on, put my mic on mute and share the show on various social media platforms. Please do the same if you are in the live show now. got done sharing the show on Facebook and Skype and Twitter. So I'll do a few shout outs to the few people who have already joined us in the live chat. So good to see you, Agent Detective. Thanks for being here. Good afternoon to you too. Flat Earth Holland says Punk. Don't know who he's talking to, but good to have you here. Thanks for being here. Curved Water, as I've said already. Thanks for being here. Sean G. Good day, FE. Good day to you too, Sean G. Flat Accord Music. Thanks for being here. Captain Bullshit. Did I say you already? No. Captain Bullshit, good to have you here. Sniff, sniff. I smell the blood of an agent. Good for you. Cigar Face TV. David Quintana, good to have you here. Thanks for being here. Quest for Relevance. For whom the bell trolls. Thanks for being here. Time Q says hello all. Good to see you here. Thanks for being here. I think that's probably about it. If I've missed you, I do apologise. I'll return to the live chat. May as well do my normal link. So if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, be sure to hit that super chat. And if you would like to join the debate live, there is a link in the info box below this video. Simply mute your watch page, the page that you are currently watching now, and then click on that link to join the debate live. As it stands, you'd be joining completely unopposed and able to express your views on the shape of the Earth without any interruption from me. You might get a little bit of chit chat, but that's probably about it. Once somebody joins, I'm going to go on mute and make myself a cup of coffee. But yeah, so feel free to click on the link in the info box below this video. I think if you scroll up to the top of the chat, you might still find that link there. And yeah, feel free to express your views on the shape of the Earth. With that, I'm going to transition back to my photos and wait for our first guest, which we'll hopefully get in the not too distant future. Quick shout out to Globe Thrusters, who says howdy. Good to have you here. David Quintana says, I want to debate a flat earther. Well, come on then, DQ. DQ's making the excuse that he doesn't know how to make Hangouts work. I'm pretty sure that's a lie, but you just click on the link and your smartphone or tablet will take you through the process. If you're on a PC, it'll just load up the Hangouts page directly and you will join from there. It's dead easy. You have an account, you have an icon, you can sign in under Scarface TV without any issue, DQ. It is dead easy. So hopefully we'll see DQ in the live show. We shall see. I think we've had a couple of others that don't normally make appearances. We had the Seeking Ninja on, who mirrored that little section of him coming on, smoking and trolling in a mask, which was good fun. But you're free to do the same, DQ. been joined by the Buddha, who says, quiet debate. It is a quiet debate, the Buddha. And as I've said a couple of times already, you are free to join, completely uncontested, if you would like to express your views on the shape of the Earth. There's a good chance that when you do that, you may entice somebody else to join. But at the beginning of these shows, obviously there will be a period of dead air where there is nobody in the Hangout. But yeah, the link is in the info box. Feel free to join yourself if you would like to express your views on the shape of the Earth. Also, hello to Flat Earth Technician. Our government adds 20% to every purchase. Does that really increase the value of the product? Does that really increase the value of the product? No. That's why they call it value added. Oh, hello. We are joined by somebody. How are you doing? Whoever you are. Wait for them to sort their mic out and come off mute. And once they say hello, I'll transition across to the Hangout and you can see your good selves chatting away, along with our first participant. Just give me a nod once you... Oh no, maybe not. Well, somebody joined and then got cold feet. Can I ask a question in the live chat, says the Buddha. Yes, you can ask a question in the live chat. I'm the only person here and I'm reading it, so yeah. Just don't be too big a keyboard warrior. Get in here if you've got anything important to say. Mac Booty says hello. Hello to you too, Mac Booty. Good to have you here. But it says, can you explain the Southern Cross / star trails in the Southern Hemisphere, please? Well, that presupposes that it's a sphere. But can I explain them? What do you mean? Explain them. Have you seen them? They need no explanation. They're self-explanatory. You can look up and see them. Good to have you here, Javen Trendmaker. Says sup, Satan Oakley. Flat Earth Technician says, physics by definition is the study of the physical. So how can any of us be astrophysicians? Andres says, hi GT Oak. Good to have you, Andres. Rene Ibriluka. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Good to have you here. Thanks for being here. Ace McLeod says sex. Very good, Ace. How do I feel about the Flat Earth Conference? Asks Joven Trendmaker. I don't know what you mean. How do I feel? I enjoyed watching it. It's good news.
So do you think that the Flat Earth Conference is really making history?
Oh, we're joined by a guest who's very quiet.
Hello.
Who have we got?
Good evening.
Hello,
Good
my friend.
evening.
What's your
This is
name?
my Michael K. Cigar
Oh,
face.
it's David Quintana.
DQ.
How you doing, David?
David Quintana, come to you. How you doing, man?
I'm not too bad. Not too bad at all. See if I can turn you up a little bit. Bear with me.
Oh shit.
All right, don't worry. I'll get you turned up.
Oh, sorry. I mean, oh shoot. No cursing. I know how it is, man. I actually played you in a fake debate one day. I was just fucking around. I was like, "Hey, this is Nathan Oakley. There's no cursing."
Good stuff. So you've talked on these shows before, then?
A long time ago, I have, yes.
Oh, I don't remember. You sound a bit like Tim Osman.
Do I really? Well, we come from the same region, so I would assume
Probably what
probably
it
natural
is.
that we sound the same. We
So,
basically come from the same
what side of the
state,
fence do you sit these days, then, David Quintana?
I don't sit on any fence or on any camp. I roll alone, man. Well, not really. But I do not believe in flat Earth. I think it's a bunch of bollocks. I think that people who believe in it are highly deluded, and they probably need some searching to do within themselves to kind of their lives. It's kind of ridiculous to go around saying that this is truth and this is dogma and this is absolute fact when you actually don't have all that in order. You don't really have any right to say that. You have no amalgamation of scientific minds. You really don't have anything except for parrots repeating each other. I mean, you had Mark Sargent and Eric Dubé at the beginning, and then you had all the lemmings afterwards. I mean, there's no originality in flat Earth. I think that everything you guys do is plagiarized, and I think it's a giant shit show. And it's really fun to watch, though, so I'll give you that. And as far as this conference goes, and it making history, I don't think it's going to make history. What history books is this going to be in? I mean, who's in 20 years, who's going to care that you guys had a conference or two, or that you're rolling out a shitload of conferences now? It just seems like a niche market, and you found your niche, so congratulations. And I don't know, I'm kind of pontificating at this point, so I don't know,
Good, man. Doing well. Keep
I'll let you
going.
get on with your show, Nathan.
No.
All right,
This
have
is
a good one,
the
man.
show. That's you are doing brilliantly. You keep going.
I basically spent, man. I've spent.
Is that it? That's your only gripe?
Only gripe I could think of at the moment. I could come back later, maybe when someone else makes me pissed.
I'd have thought off the top of your head you'd have had a lot more to gripe about.
Oh, it's still early, dude. It's 5 in the morning, so I barely just
Fair
got
enough.
up. So maybe I'm not firing on all cylinders at the moment.
I don't know. Even I could think of worse things to moan about Flat Earth about, but fair enough. Those are your gripes. Those are your gripes. Good to hear them.
How come you weren't a speaker at the conference? Do you not have enough good things to talk about?
I was asked. I just couldn't afford to go. And, I wasn't going to start doing fundraisers to get people to pay for me to go over to the conference in the States. I tried to convince my wife to, scrape the pennies together, but with a newborn at the time, it was like, no. Yeah, if anywhere, we're going to be going to
Better just
Disneyland.
take care of the baby, huh?
Yeah, that was her attitude. We'll go to Disneyland sooner than we'll go to any conference. So
Oh,
yeah, it
that's
was not getting
respectable.
past the wife, unfortunately. But I really did want to go. I really did want to go.
Well, maybe you'll be able to go to the next one. I think they're having one in Denver, and also maybe another one next year too. That's what I've been reading, dude. So you might get your day.
Well,
If
there's a
once
UK
you
one.
get
So
one of those things.
2018 next one is going to be in the UK.
Cool. So that's right up your alley. Unless you're going to be America at that time, then you're fucked.
I
You're
don't
screwed.
think I'll be in the States. I don't think so.
Sorry, man. It's just my normal way of talking, man.
I said this to Curved at the
Oh,
beginning
so
of
I
the show.
was-
I've got no issue with people swearing. Bad language, it doesn't offend me. It's that if we were now in a conversation about curvature and you were swearing, then I'd probably stop you. because then
Oh,
it
okay.
demonstrates becoming, you know, annoyed.
Because it's just an
So that's
attack.
what I'm trying to
Right.
cut out, as opposed to people actually swearing. The swearing doesn't bother me. It's just a better way of saying you're getting triggered. If you say that to somebody, they go, "What do you mean I'm getting?" You know, it gets them more agitated.
Yeah, yeah. It's so weird, right? You tell somebody they're triggered and it makes them more mad. What the fuck is that about?
Yeah, I get it at work. You know, sometimes I'll be in without detailing what, but a stressful situation, and you demonstrate the fact that you are under stress to the person you're expressing that to, and they will say, you know, you're getting very annoyed. That's a bit of an issue. And you're like, I'm trying to explain a problem to you here. Obviously, it stressed me out. That's why I'm displaying signs of stress. You know, to tell me to not be stressed. It's like, ugh.
So did you ever hear what happened with the Morgile? How come that dude didn't speak at the conference? What's up with that?
No, Patricia gave him a
What's the
call, tried to
hearsay?
get in touch with him, and she couldn't get a hold of him. So she had no answers. She just knew that he
So,
wasn't there, and had tried to speak to him. But like I say, she didn't have any explanation for me. I've not tried to get in touch with him. I'll be
so
honest,
he,
because it's not my bag. I'm not there. You know, not that I don't care, but it's not my place to ask him why he's not at the conference.
so he was all lined up to get on stage and speak then, and he just no-showed.
Say that
That's
once more.
kind of
Sorry,
odd. So he basically no-showed. You're saying, and he was on the schedule to speak,
Morgul
apparently,
was on the
right?
schedule. Yeah, he was one of the posted speakers.
He's on the docket. Okay, that's just odd that he wouldn't show up.
I agree.
You figure a guy like that would be stoked, and he probably had potential to make some money too. So, you know, definitely Morgul could use the money.
I don't
Shit,
know.
I
I
don't know
don't
what his
know. I
deal
don't
is.
know
Do you think he's
Morgul
gonna
that
go
well.
solo and like go rogue against Bob and Jarian and all that? That'd be pretty interesting to see. You know what else is really weird, dude? These days I see Matt Parlin hanging out on Poncho Pete's channel. What the fuck is that, man? The fucking Mandela effect is real, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what. I tuned
Never.
in because he suddenly had a massive jump. You know, you search Flat Earth Live, and Poncho Pete, for the first time in ages, was at the top of the list with about 60 or 70 people watching. I was like, and I hadn't watched Poncho Pete in probably a year. And I clicked on it. I
I
was
know,
like, why has
right?
he got so
You've
many
seen one,
people?
you've seen them all.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I wasn't particularly interested in seeing in what Poncho Pete had got to offer at any particular time until you see him at the top of the list with a considerable more than, you know, your normal 20 people watching. So I was like, oh, I wonder why he's got 65 people or whatever it was watching. So I clicked on it, and immediately there's math there. I'm like, oh, all right, well, that makes sense. I'll stick around and watch. So yeah, so I did, and watched him and his. Is it? I assume they're married now. Is Katie his wife now?
I assume so. Yes.
I don't know. I've not asked, but
Yeah, I
yeah, you
think
know,
they
they
are.
were
I think
chatting
they are
away, and
married.
she's now a face in Flat Earth, which is great, I suppose.
Yeah, just as much as anyone else, I guess.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
definitely pulls in the audience. I mean, it was her most of the time anyway. So
yeah. I mean, they've got a definite
adorable.
on-screen chemistry, and it works. It was very entertaining.
So who's your absolute like guru? Who's your go-to guy if you need your information? Like, who's the guy that woke you up? I mean,
Who
I'm
woke
putting
me up
that
to Flat
lightly.
Earth?
Woke you up. Yeah.
Math Powerland.
Matt Paraland.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, he was like at the leading at like the forefront, right? He was one of the first guys. One of the first guys that I had come across as well.
yeah. I'm pretty sure he was the first, but he's now claiming ownership of that. The title of his last video was something like, I can't remember how he phrased it, but Eric Debate phrased something similar maybe 12 months ago. Eric phrased it, the guy who brought back Flat Earth. I can't remember how, I'll have to look it up now, see how Matt
Gotcha.
phrased it. What was the title? Give me 2 secs.
Not familiar with it. All right.
It was something like the guy who brought back Flat Earth, but I'll find the exact title.
We're bringing it back, yo. We're bringing it back.
Here we go, NASA channel.
When was the last time it was talked about before he brought it back?
I don't think it's ever stopped being talked about, if I'm honest. Even if you just want to look at it from the controlled opposition point of view, it's always been talked about.
It's never been given a platform. I mean, you wouldn't think. I'd never seen one, at least. Not until YouTube came around. I wouldn't know where to look. Maybe a Bugs Bunny cartoon from an old.
So it's called
the days of yore.
It's called it. Sorry, I just found it. Real coverage breakdown with Math Powerland, creator of FE. Yesterday.
Damn.
Math Powerland, creator of FE.
Creator. That's a pretty bold statement, man.
Yeah.
So he's God now? I don't understand. He's the creator. What?
It's hard to phrase it though, isn't it? How do you phrase, the person that made it prevalent now? Because that doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. But Math did make it prevalent now.
How's it plagiarist? That works. Because it's all old information anyway, right? It's just recycled information, essentially.
Essentially what he's promoting is the fact that the Earth was always flat. So that being the case, it's like, well, if that's the obvious nature of our reality, nobody can really claim ownership of that. That's how it always was.
I'm pretty sure it was always a globe, though. I don't know if it was always flat. It might have been in, like, caveman minds. But I think once he started getting all the people coming together, just putting all their observations into one and making a model out of it. I mean, how can you deny what all those people have done before? I can understand you saying, oh, they're indoctrinated and all that, but how can you deny all the great minds that have aided humanity and brought humanity to the forefront of what it is today? I mean, we have some of the best technology out there. I mean, how are people who can barely put together a rotary phone going to come up with the shit that humanity put together with amalgamated minds, dude? You guys are going to sit here and talk about flat Earth. You could be taking this shit to a type 1 civilization or something. It could be way better, but no, you guys want to hold back the entire, all of humanity with your flat Earth nonsense. I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
So, are you a NASA believer?
I'm not a fanboy, but I would tend to take their stuff over your guys' stuff. Are you a believer that only Freemasons are allowed to go into space? Do you even believe space? Or where do they go if the space isn't even real? There's so many questions, Nathan.
Go ahead. It's only you and me here, so I'm more than happy to answer
I think there's
them.
merit in what NASA does. I think NASA does a lot of important things. I don't think that you can justify them getting $50 billion a day as in suits, like hogging all the money. That stuff gets recirculated into the economy. It goes to pay contractors. It does all sorts of stuff. It doesn't just go to the guys at NASA. It gets filtered around, dude.
So, perfect. Gem Panda. Right, I can
Hello,
finally shut up.
He's come to school us, Nathan. This guy's upon us.
Well, Gem's a total NASA believer, so I'll ask you one more question, DQ, and hopefully that'll spur a conversation with you and Gem. So, do you believe men have been to the moon?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, well, maybe that'll be a dry conversation between you and Gem then. I'll let you carry on.
I think, if you don't mind me butting in, DQ, I think there's, you can make the argument that $50 million a day is not money well spent. And I think that's a very sound argument when there are, you know, children starving in the world, or even, you know, underprivileged people in America. You know, you can make the argument there should be no space program at all. But I don't, you know, I think that's an argument of economics, and you don't require anything to be fake to make that argument, you know. And I think people have made that argument since the conception of NASA.
Curve Water just said in the chat that you trigger him, Jem, but I assumed you two were on the same page.
I think I don't know what I've done to trigger him, but possibly. I don't know. Yeah, I think we are on the same page. I think so. But anyway, I had some comments about the convention.
Ooh, please share.
You knock yourself out, Jem.
Well, I have to say, watching it, it's really sort of, I was left pretty gobsmacked by it all, really. It was almost like rediscovering flat Earth. Because I think, for me, it seems like a really big step from, having a YouTube channel where you say some of the things that are said to actually saying it out in real life, in front of the world's media. I mean, there was quite a lot of media organizations there from all over the place, and it just, I just left pretty gobsmacked by it all, quite frankly. I don't know. I mean, there are things which I guess one of my first impression was, I mean, looking at it in advance, given the organizers and some of the people involved, I thought this is going to have quite a Christian fundamentalist bent to it. And wow, did it have a Christian fundamentalist, very strong theme to it, I think. And that surprised me just how much that was prevalent. And then the other thing that surprised me is just some of the same old silly things that are said just being repeated, which are demonstrably incorrect, and people just repeat them. And I would have thought that, given the venue, people would have been a little bit more careful about the sort of things they were saying, because some things, people are going to go and check on, and they're going to say, that's just bollocks. A couple of examples were, the ones that spring to mind are Thrive and Survive. He said rainbows can't be formed indoors, which is just nonsense.
That's ridiculous.
And
did he really say that?
Was,
oh wow!
Sorry, Nathan, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't see that. I didn't catch Rich say that, but I'm surprised to hear him say that because I've done it indoors myself.
Right, and his other one was, he got this. He read this quote from a newspaper. I don't know if you've come across this, Nathan. I've seen it a couple of times. Sun and Moon Group came up with it, and it's this newspaper report about this guy called Ebenezer Breach, who is suing the education minister, who is actually his local MP in Portsmouth, for teaching children that the Earth's a globe. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's sort of a semi-notorious Victorian flat earther.
Sorry, what was his name again?
Ebenezer Breach.
No, don't know the name. Sorry.
Right. Well, anyway, this report is. Can I read it? You don't mind if I read a bit of the report, do you?
Go ahead.
So it'll take a minute. Yeah. So this is in a newspaper. It's actually the same report. Is in actually a few newspapers, and this one is from the Cook County Herald, April the 21st, 1900. So it's actually a US paper. And it says, the headline is, says Earth is round and he may be thrown into prison. Sad condition of affairs in England. Sir John Gorst accused of intention to teach false precepts. City of Portsmouth excited. And then the report goes on. It is painful to read Sir John Gorst, the head of the British Educational Department, is in serious trouble and has been threatened by Ebenezer Breach and other taxpayers of the City of Portsmouth in the Kingdom of England with prosecution under the Impostors Act. It seems that the schools of Portsmouth have been teaching the damnable and heretical doctrine that the earth is a sphere. Sir John's attention has been called to this dissemination of seditious and treasonable doctrine, but he has refused to correct the abuse. Ebenezer and his friends know, of course, that the earth is as flat as a pancake. And but it goes on. There's some more like that. But this, Thrive and Survive read this, and his claim is surrounding this that this shows us that in 1900, people were being prosecuted for teaching that the earth was a globe, and the common belief was that it was flat, and that's what he's derived from this. But this report is clearly satirical. This form of a very extreme sarcasm is really common in Victorian newspapers in editorial. I mean, it's very, very common, and anyone who'd done even a jot of research will be able to find that. And I think certainly someone from a media organization is probably going to very easily be able to access this and find out that it's clearly satirical. And I know it's only a small thing, but it makes people look silly, because he prefaced this by saying that he's part of a research group. They're just a small group. They're the Sun and Moon group. He makes it sound like this is the result of research, when this is the result of confirmation bias and no research. And I rest my case.
Yeah, I've got Adam Dwyer wants to join, so I've asked him to post his email address so I can just cut it and paste it into the invite screen. And he's not giving me it in full, so I've now got to find a notepad to paste it into. It's like, God, I'm trying to run a bloody show. You can't just click on the link because he's on a phone, and I appreciate that because I have trouble doing the same thing. But he wants me to jump through to hoops to get him on so he can presumably swear his head off and get immediately ejected. Anyway, give me a minute, guys. I'm just going to see if I can sort this out for Adam.
So, do you think that Thrive and Survive had gotten that from The Onion? Oh shit, sounds like Star Trek up in that motherfucker. Anyways, you're listening to the Flat Earth Debate Show.
Sorry about that.
So I'm just going to say, from this point for you two, because we're going to get Adam on, I know you're not swearing because you're agitated, but you will become agitated when Adam joins. So please do not swear from this point. I will just eject you, all three.
Right. So,
can we do one question?
Just to explain further, DQ, it's an actual report from an actual newspaper, and the event actually happened. This Ebenezer Breach did try and prosecute his local MP, but the newspaper reported it in this sort of sarcastic manner, as if to say how just to poke fun at him, basically. Anyway, I've got to go because I've got a job. Bummer.
All right, man.
So you have fun with Adam.
I'll give it my best. We should be good. You have a good day, man.
Yeah, and you, man.
Yeah, it's just not working. I'm going to transition across because I've tried 3 times, so you can see what I'm doing, Adam. There's your email address. It's pasted in.
Can we just play an old clip of him? You fucking dog! You don't know what fuck you're talking about! Y'all trolls!
Doesn't work.
Does he want to debate you or me? Or he probably wanted to debate Jem.
Yeah, it just doesn't want to. Anyway, there you go. I've tried. Doesn't work.
You fucking dog, you're making it so I can't click the link, eh?
Well, you saw it. I tried to put his, I had to go into my notes, paste it in, add the .com onto the end, paste it into the invite page. It didn't work.
Is the Gadget Show? What is that show called? The Gadget Show? Is that still a big show in the UK?
Can hardly hear. Can you say again?
Oh, the Gadget Show. Looks like you're the host of that mug.
No, I was not the host. I was on it a couple of times and they interviewed me a few times, but I was definitely not the host.
That's really sweet, man. Why do you keep the pictures up? Just
because I'm proud of them.
You're the host.
Proud of being on TV.
I'm just curious.
Vanity.
When I first saw those pictures, I was like, "Damn, dude, this guy's like a news anchor or some shit."
Nope.
Good evening.
Joined by Curved
No, my
Water
health
and
doesn't
Adam
allow
Dwyer.
it.
Thank the Lord. Right,
You
please
fucking
do
dog,
not.
what?
No, cigar face. Please do
I'm
not
just kidding.
swear.
Stop swearing, mate.
I'm just playing, man.
There's no swearing on his show. Like, come on, he just said there's no swearing, and you want to go on like it's like.
Hey,
an
he said as soon as you show up, there's no swearing. So technically, I'm okay.
Technically, you're a gaybo. So, what are your thoughts? Do you believe the Earth is flat?
Yeah, dude, it's so fucking flat. I go out and I look at the water. I'm like, damn.
Stop
bro,
swearing.
That water's so flat.
Come on,
last
you've got children
warning,
watching.
DQ, please. I
Stop
really want
swearing,
you here.
know, like, I might slip up. I might do a Freudian slip, but you're just going on.
Okay.
Have some decorum.
Oh, I don't have decorum, so you might have to just kick me now.
You know what I mean, I'm already plastered. I'm drunk as a skunk, and I'm still trying to keep it light for Nathan.
Okay.
Good old Nath.
What time is it in Ireland?
What time is it? It's 12:17.
Nice.
How are you, Nathan?
Me, I'm good. Thanks for being here.
That's good. Thank you for not adding me to the call like I asked.
Keep telling you. I go to Hangouts and my call, this
Yeah,
call
you should
doesn't
be able
appear.
to easily add me. We're friends on the little hangout thing. You should be able to just add me. Add to call, that little dirty little A4. You should be able to add me.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's why I put it on screen. So I go to add you, I put your email address in, and the little green invite button doesn't highlight. It won't let me invite you.
I don't know. We gotta figure something out on the sly, Nathan, me and you, so that you can invite me.
No worries.
Just me and you.
Okay.
Just me
no
and you
problem.
on the sly. 1-on-1.
No problem.
Dick off. My gay mate's sitting here and he's listening to you and he's saying you're sexy.
Who's your gay mate?
Yeah, kidding. I'll put him on. Gay. Hello.
Hey guys, this is Spaceman. You're sexy, Nathan. You should come to Canada.
You sound very sexy.
Damn, Nathan.
You do.
Flattered.
Very sexual. Do you have a nice little Johnny?
Fair assessment. I am very sexual.
So what's the topic, Nathan?
Flat Earth. So we've talked about,
Flat
or
Earth.
Jem Panda's
who
talked about the
thinks-
conference.
Who thinks the Earth's flat?
I think the
Who
Earth's flat.
thinks the Earth's flat here?
You're agnostic though, are you not, Adam? You're sitting on the fence at the moment.
Nah, mate, I don't sit on no fences. I'm a realist. You can't prove either. You can't prove either, Nathan. You can't tell me it's flat. If you want to use every argument that you've used against the globe Earth, you want to use that against the flat Earth, the flat Earth will crumble just as much as the globe Earth has crumbled. Come on, mate. The cookie crumbles. Come on. Be truthful. The cookie crumbles. What? All right, you're going to tell me that the Earth's flat. What evidence do you have that the Earth's flat? Come on. Somebody. Anybody.
Water always finds its level.
Oh, don't pull that shit. I've got a cup in front of me with alcohol in it. I've got a cup in front of me with alcohol in it, and it's what is the word?
Is it
Convexing up the cup. On the edges of the cup, it's not laying flat. It's actually convexing up the cup. Is that the right term? Is it convexing? Yeah, convexing. Is that right, Nathan?
Yeah.
Nathan, you're smart. You're a media shield.
Concaving.
Nathan, help me out here, mate. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's convexing. So if I put water in a cup, water doesn't lay flat in a cup. It remains flat around before the edges, but once it hits an edge, it then starts convexing up the edge. Yeah? No? Anybody want to argue? Anybody want to debate? You don't want to talk about it? Can't. I'm the realist. I was the first flat earther around. I was one of the ones that would have debunked the biggest globe earther in the world. I debunked them already. Now I'm turning around trying to teach you flat earthers that you aren't as smart as what you think you are. Every argument you use against a globe earther can be flipped around and used on you.
Hell yeah.
Show me your proof. It's like pudding. Show me the pudding.
Well, so I don't get dragged into this conversation, Adam. You're saying you can easily
It's like
debunk.
Jerry Maguire. Show me the money.
So you can easily debunk the globe Earth arguments. You've got two globe heads that would adamantly disagree with you.
Okay, go. Prove to me it's a globe then. I'll take flat Earth for a second then. So then, if we've only got globes, if we've only got globers on at the moment, yeah, I know. Well, one is well, I'm not the founder. The guy that fucking woke me up, he's playing eccentric, like he plays a crazy guy at the moment. He goes on and sings and rants and raves and making himself seem crazy. So I got banned from his channel today because I called his missus an agent. You seen that, Nathan, too, didn't you? You seen me get banned. You seen me get banned from the NASA channel for calling Katie an agent. Because there's no way that some fucking Sheila would get with a fucking guy when he's going on a rant like that. She's either fucking Mossad trying to get in on it, or she's some type of CIA shield. CIA, motherfucker. Sorry for the swearing.
Shout out to Shroomy.
All right, but no, like globers. Prove to me it's a globe.
Well, you can just look at the sky, and the planets will show you that it's a globe.
How do
No,
you
it doesn't.
prove something to an individual?
Don't give me bunk arguments. I've got my mates here listening to you too, and they're globers. They believe that we live on a globe, and even they're looking at you like, what are you talking about? Clouds prove that it's a globe. No, they don't.
I didn't.
You only have. You're an ant.
Nobody said clouds.
You're an ant on. Yeah, you sound dumb because you're an ant. You're an ant on an anthill trying to tell me what shape the Earth is based on you looking up and seeing clouds. Come on, you can't tell.
Nobody said clouds.
Somebody just said clouds.
You heard wrong, dude.
Who said that?
Go ahead. Go ahead then. Prove to me it's a globe.
Okay, fog.
Fog. So we went from clouds to fog.
I'm just kidding, man.
Fog. Fog.
No, you could look at planets, and you could see the way.
My gay mate said that. My gay mate. Sorry, I got to interrupt you. My gay mate said that.
Does he appreciate you just calling him your gay mate?
The angrier you
Is
get,
that his
the
name?
sexier you sound. His name's Dave.
Who's angry?
Dave Hunt. He's on the hunt. He's on the hunt. Dave on the hunt.
Don't tell me he's not related to my cunt, is he?
My cunt.
Fuck yeah.
Bend over. You know bend over. Pizza. We got them all too. But yeah, prove to me it's a globe, please. Please. Please, please. Look at me. Look at me.
Well, there is no proof. There is evidence, and the evidence leads you to believe that.
There is no evidence. There's only proof. Don't fucking twist it. Proof is to compel the mind to assert
Bullshit.
something is true. Listen, Charlie Sheen. Proof is to compel the mind to assert something is true. I'm asking you to prove it because that's the only thing you can do. You cannot provide me any evidence because evidence doesn't exist in this world at all for anything. You know why? Because
could
you
you say
cannot
such a
verify to me
absurdity?
that what your existence is matches to my existence or to anybody else's existence.
Well, this is going to
If
go
we both went
somewhere.
out in the fields, if we both went out in a field and looked at the stars for a year, we could both conclude that they're going around the Earth.
What?
A similar agreement. So I don't know what you're saying.
I want you to prove to me that it's a globe. Not evidence. Don't bring your bull crap arguments about evidence because they don't exist. Evidence doesn't exist. All right? Unless you're a computer and you run with ones and zeros, which is true and false statements, well, then evidence doesn't exist. We're humans, so
Okay, well, we're not
Evidence doesn't-
computers.
that's
We're
right.
not
So
running
show
true
me
or
your
false
proof or
statements.
provide to me your proof that we live on a ball. A globe. What is it? Spheroid, oblate, spheroid? Spherical oblate. Centrifugal force from the oblate spheroid. Come on, just prove it to me. Come on, prove it to me. You can do it. Come on. Somebody's smart. If there's a bar, hop along. I don't know. What's your name? The one that my mate's got your hots for. He wants to fucking get your number. Sorry, small. Sorry, Nathan.
Oh, I think he wants Nathan's number.
No, he wants you. You're the one. Who are you? What's your name? You got it. He said. My mate just said you got a sexy voice.
Oh, tell him I said thanks. That's pretty cool.
What?
Say thanks for the
Hello.
compliment.
No, you're welcome.
Hello, Adam's gay mate.
Now prove to me it's a globe.
Oh, we're gonna have customers. Hello.
Shout out to Cat Earth.
Good to have you on, Cat Earth. How you doing,
We've
Alex?
got Cat Earth on the panel.
Katniss
Welcome to the
Everdeen.
panel. Remember now, there's no
Katniss
cursing.
Everdeen. We don't need you in the house, Katniss.
No, I'm dead
Everdeen.
serious. DQ and
She's in the
Adam,
Hunger Games.
you're on your last warnings, so any more swearing, I'm just going to maliciously just boot you.
I haven't sworn.
You have?
Who are you talking to, Nathan?
You and DQ, you both
I haven't
just as bad as
sworn.
each
I
other.
haven't sworn the whole time. I said Katniss Everdeen.
Anyway, just good. Okay, you haven't
Nathan,
sworn.
Don't you start your drama with me, Nathan. I have not sworn. All right? I've been polite and nice the whole time. Quit
Okay,
your
we'll
little
take that as
games.
read. You haven't
Chill.
sworn, but if you do, you'll be booted.
But see, you're giving me one warning when these guys are swearing at me. They're being profane the whole time. These
You're
guys
full
have
of
been
it.
profane the whole time, using profanity towards me. And as soon as I try and react with some type
Oh,
of
play that victim card.
profanity,
I'll come back later when you guys have put this out. Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to work this out, Alex.
Bye,
Sorry.
Adam. Bye, Cigar. Bye, Nathan. Bye, Kat.
Bye, Cat.
See you,
is
Cat.
joined to leave by Katniss Everdeen.
Is he scared of putting
Can you
any
prove to
globe
me?
arguments forward, Adam?
I'm trying to ask them if they've got any arguments or proofs for the ball Earth, and they won't provide any.
Nathan,
They
can
said
you prove
first they
Adam?
said clouds, and then they said fog. You can't just. I can say like, all right, the Earth's flat because of cheeseburgers. It's the same type of argument you're using.
Nathan, can you prove to Adam that he's been swearing and don't use any evidence because there is none?
The past doesn't exist.
Nope.
You can't
You're
rewind the
racist,
stream.
Nathan. You're racist. You hate Australians.
Australian? I thought you were from Ireland.
Let's read upon racism now. All right.
If Nathan kicks me, everybody, he's racist. He hates Australians. G'day, mate.
So
on the
Australian
barbie
is a race now, huh?
Yeah,
Nice.
it is.
Learn-
Australia's a race of people.
That's what I
We
like
race
about
all
this
the
show.
time.
Always
Race down
learn
the shops to
something.
get some fish and chips. race from the police. Gordon, run, Gordon, run.
Wow. This is very productive.
Very productive.
All right. All right, I've had enough joking. Come on, somebody provide some globe earth evidence or proof. Well, no, I won't say evidence because evidence don't exist. Provide me some proof so I can have a debate with you.
2 celestial
I've got
points,
globers
Adam.
on here and you're
That's
too
proof.
scared to argue with a drunk A4. Just realise that you're too scared to argue with a drunk A4. Imagine if I was straight.
2 celestial
Probably
points,
A3.
Adam.
Oh,
Aimed
so you're
at
gay too?
those.
I can't imagine a straight A4.
I didn't know you were gay. No wonder you got a gay guy there.
Birds of a feather.
Flock together.
But we're on the same panel as him, so by that standard,
Is flocking considered swearing in this content?
flocking,
Or content?
You just swore, Nathan. You just said effing.
flocking like birds flock.
I
Right.
thought you said effing. Oh, mate. Take
Yeah.
it. Take it.
Birds flock too.
Nah, I'll get kicked out. If I even try and repeat what he said then, I'll get kicked out.
I'd agree, and by that
So-
standard, I'd call Curved a flat earther because he's flocking with us.
Why should I believe? Oh no, not together, like physically. This is cyber flocking. It's different.
Yeah. Horses for
Now,
courses,
Adam.
I'd say.
What is your proof or evidence that evidence does
Hey,
not
like-
exist?
I can at least have a laugh with Nathan because he's English, so he sort of knows the lingo. He knows me.
I think he's talking to his friends.
Get off me, patio, mate.
Does he know we're here?
No, I don't know what's going on. It's funny though.
And they don't know shit about either.
Wow.
Wow.
You got a sexy voice, bro.
Did he kick me? I think he kicked me. It's all silent.
We're listening to you, Adam.
Oh, there we go.
Good
Come on, can
evening.
you prove to me that the Earth is a globe then?
Can you prove to me that evidence does not exist?
Prove to me that evidence does exist. You're the one making the outstanding claim saying that evidence
You-
exists.
A4. Who made the claim that evidence does not exist?
But if you say that evidence exists,
That's your claim,
that's
A4.
the claim. No, that's the claim. Evidence
Are you-
exists is the claim. I'm the one saying you cannot prove it.
Did you
have
say
to-
that or
you have
not?
to substantiate your claim to say that evidence exists. I
A4,
don't
did
have
you
to- I
say
don't have to
evidence does
substantiate
not
my claim on a
exist?
rebuttal that you cannot back up your claims about evidence. That's just me coming to you and saying you've tried to provide so-called evidence and that does
No.
not exist. I'm rebuting you by saying you have not provided any
No.
actual evidence. And the burden of proof is on you. You have not
No.
compelled my mind to assert what you're saying is true.
You're shifting your burden,
I'm getting
attempting
into
to.
technicalities. That's how
very
you win
weak.
debate. Get into technicalities.
It's a
Let him
very
respond,
poor
Adam.
effort on your part, A4. Very poor effort. You made the claim
Very true.
that there is no evidence.
Yep.
Evidence
No,
does
but
not
I made a
exist.
claim against your claim. I made a claim.
You
If we had a
made the
block of
claim.
land- no. If we had a block of
You
land,
clearly
you've
stated
already
it.
tried to claim it, and I'm trying to reclaim it.
Well,
Yeah,
you're not
like
doing
what
a
you've
very
done
good
is I'm an
job.
Aboriginal, and you've tried to claim my land, and I'm saying no. It's my land.
Prove to me that the land
That's all that's
exists.
happening right here. I'm an Aboriginal, and you're trying to claim my land on false pretenses.
This is silly. I don't even want to play this game. This is
It's
ridiculous.
silly. It's silly now when he gets fucking.
It
when
really
he gets
is.
refuted,
No, Adam.
refuted by
Yeah, it
a
is.
drunk A4. Imagine
You're-
if I was straight.
No, you don't play by any rules.
That's right. I don't
You really
have any
don't.
rules. I don't have a script.
No,
I
you're
don't have
trying to
any
present
rules.
yourself
I'm
as
a
logical,
realist.
and you're
I'm a
exactly the
realist. You
opposite.
cannot beat a realist. You cannot beat somebody that doesn't have to sit there and go by a script. I'm asking you to provide me, follow a script. I'm asking you to provide
going
me
by a
what
script?
You believe
Exactly.
we live on.
Support that
If you believe we
assertion.
live on a globe, tell me why you believe we live on a globe.
Prove to us you're not a Kiwi, A4.
I am a Kiwi then. That's irrelevant. I am a Kiwi. I'm a Kiwi. Prove to me that your claims are that we live on a spherical oblate, an oblate spheroid, whatever you want to call it.
No
Like a spin ball,
self-respecting
a
Aussie
pear.
would accept being called a Kiwi.
No, I don't care. If you call me a Kiwi, so be it. I don't care. Doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean anything to me.
That's fishy.
How am I supposed to know? Like the block of lands, the way they're named doesn't mean anything to me. They could have been named Umbalumba Kandadunga, and it wouldn't have mean anything different to me. I live in Umbalunga Kandadunga.
Well, yeah, to an Aborigine.
I live in what do they call the land? The Aboriginals? Arnhem Land. Arnhem Land. See, I live in the Arnhem Land anyway.
Anybody know
Okay,
what he's
here's a-
talking about?
Well, that's
I
where
don't know,
Australia
dude.
is. Australia's not really Australia. Apparently,
I
the
don't know.
English come and invaded. Yeah, apparently the English come and invaded the Aboriginals, and the Aboriginals called the land that we live in right now, what I'm presiding in, they called it Arnhem Land. So really, I'm not New Zealander. I'm not Australian. I'm Arnhem me.
How do you know that? How do you know that? Adam?
I think it's sovereign citizen talk.
Armenian.
Were you there? Were you there when this happened, or are you just going by what you read in a book or what somebody told you? How do you know this to be true?
I'm going by the folklore that the Aboriginals go off.
Oh,
They
hearsay.
go off. It's not hearsay. They
Yeah,
go off their
well,
folklore.
yeah,
It's handed
folklore.
down knowledge. How do you get your knowledge? Wait.
Oh, hold on,
Who do
Adam.
you
He's
get
trying to
your
make a
knowledge-
point.
who do you
Let
get
him
your
make his
knowledge-
point.
wait,
Adam,
wait.
just let him make his point.
Who do you get your knowledge of? You get it out of a book, just the same way if I went to an Aboriginal and
I
then
don't
asked
read
them about
books.
their elders and what they teach. It's the same thing that comes out of a book. It's regurgitated knowledge passed down generation to generation. You can't tell me it's any wrong or it's less wrong or less right.
Adam, prove.
Adam, you verbal
Prove that I read
diarrheaed all
books.
over his point, which was that you based that on evidence, right?
No proof. No. I told you there's no such thing as evidence.
Go ahead and keep confusing the words. Go ahead.
I've got
There's
evidence.
no such thing as evidence. You can't tell me you got evidence. Evidence is
I
like
got it,
telling me
bro.
that God exists because you heard him speak.
Well,
Well, that's evidence for you. That's not
Can you let
evidence
him
for me. I
try?
didn't hear him speak.
Can you let him try?
That's
'Cause-
proof. Or the best you can do is offer me proof.
right, can you let him try? It doesn't matter how we bandy the word proof or evidence, but you're asking him to present his
Well,
evidence or
It
proof
does.
of
And that means a lot
veracity.
when you're an actually articulate, all right, and when you're an educated person, a sophisticated person that wants to actually get to the bottom of things. That means a lot when you say that you can provide evidence, and you don't actually know the definition of evidence.
Can I have your definition of
I'm with two
evidence?
Aboriginals right now, and you're trying to tell me that the Aboriginals know less about their land than the person that come in. And
Adam, can I have your
Yeah,
definition
Yeah,
of evidence,
we
please?
don't care what Aboriginals think.
Evidence is apparently true and false statements. You cannot tell me that something's true just based on your opinion.
So what is evidence?
Evidence is true and false statements, but you
Wow.
can't tell me something is
Alright.
true or false based on your opinion.
Citation, please, and don't cite a book.
Don't cite a book.
Yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
I don't want a
Knowledge. That's
dictionary
common
or
knowledge. If
something
I'm
like
allowed to cite
that.
a book, that's common knowledge. Evidence.
Oh,
Evidence
it's
is
common
true
knowledge
and
the Earth is a globe.
False statements.
Debate over.
Well, that's
Debate
how we
over.
actually communicate is because we make up words and then the collective agree that word is a certain definition. A certain definition comes for that word. All right, and the word evidence actually means true and false. If you don't
Wow.
have evidence, evidence.
What's
if you
your
say that
evidence
you've got
for that?
evidence for something, that you're saying that you've got true
So far.
statements to back up what you're saying.
You're just
If you say
talking.
that you've got proof, then you say you've got compelling arguments.
What is
There's a
your
big
evidence
difference.
for this?
Thank you for joining us, Grimvy.
Katniss Everdeen. I don't know where Katniss
Good
Everdeen
evening.
is in the Hunger Games.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
Hello, Grim.
See,
everybody.
I'm talking with atheists. I'm not talking with ball earthers. What I'm talking with is atheists.
Who's
and
an
it's fun to
atheist?
play with atheists.
Hey,
It's fun,
let this
you're
atheist ask
I
you a
know what
question,
are.
Toots.
I know you're atheist, and I'm not religious, but it's still
I'm trying
fun
to ask you a
talk
question,
God at
Toots, but
religious
you won't
people.
quit
I mean,
talking,
atheists,
Toots.
you're just as bad as religious people.
How do you know I'm an atheist?
I can smell it.
No.
I can smell it. can smell it. I can
Wow.
smell it.
What does atheism smell like? Cigarettes and booze?
I can smell it.
baby.
It smells like bum cheeks, like me gay mate's bum cheeks, smelly and dirty.
You're just flying off at the mouth, making random wild ass accusations. You don't know anything about what you're talking about. That's
Tell me how
obvious.
Well, prove to me it's a globe.
Equinox. Done.
Equinox. Equinox,
One
you
word,
can't
proof the globe.
prove to me the equinox exists
Third
the way that
continent.
you
We'll
think
be
it
here
exists.
all week.
Oh my god, the equinox. The equinox, prove to me the equinox does exactly the way that describe the equinox, and then prove to me that it does exactly what you say it does.
This is the game.
God.
This is the game.
God.
Are you kidding right now? Wait a minute. Is that Adam? Hey, Adam, it's Mr. Grimm. Are you kidding with me right now? Prove to you the equinox
this is
works?
Grim 195. Remember Mr.
This is Grimm 195. That's right.
Back in the
You
day,
want me to prove to you that the equinox
You
works?
said that IQ was 195. Yeah, go ahead, Grim.
True. 195 was crack-a-lacking.
In order to
Let's go,
prove to
buddy.
A4 that the equinox happens as we say, he has to be in multiple positions at the same time,
Oh, but
observing the sun rising due east from multiple
But that's not possible. You
locations
just
in
said
the
that I have to
northern
be
and
multiple-
southern hemisphere. Without that,
multiple
Adam will
positions.
simply
Yeah,
reject
I'm a fucking time
anything.
traveler.
Adam,
he is
please let other
presented
people
with.
talk,
He
Adam.
will curl up in the
I mean, I'm
vaginal
Marty McFly.
position and hide
I'm Marty
behind.
McFly. I'm going to put myself
Right.
in
He's not a
three
superposition.
positions.
He's not a particle. How about this, though? Let's say you call me on the equinox,
Come
and
on.
I'll screen share straight down the east-west running street for you. Well, I'll throw a compass down
That
on the
only
ground
proves from
too.
your
I mean, if
perspective.
you can read
That
that.
only proves what you're seeing. That only proves from your perspective what you're seeing.
No, it'll also prove that it's happening at your house on the
No,
same
it
day.
doesn't. If I look outside and
Yeah, well, you'll see
this.
this. You'll see it going from east to west too, just like I will.
No, I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah,
the way
but you
see
will
it.
though. No matter what you
But I
want to
don't.
do, you will see
But
it.
I don't see it the way you see it.
If you look and you use your eyes and you're not drunk off of Foster's, you will see it.
I don't drink Fosters. I
Prove to us you don't see it that way, Adam.
Prove to us you don't drink Fosters.
Vodkas,
I can't help it. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing out here arguing with people if you're going to be that ignorant about the whole thing.
You can't. No, but we
You
already
can't even
just
do
proved
it.
it. with
I mean,
the-
that's like saying
the guy-
water's
no, no,
wet, and then you go, no, it's not. Get the fuck out of here. Seriously,
I
you're
didn't
just a
say
joke,
water's not
dude.
wet. I didn't say water's not wet. The definition.
Yeah,
of
but you
water
are basically saying water is
would
not wet.
imply that something gets wet.
Metaphorically, when you're saying, oh, it doesn't work that way for me. Yes, it does. It works that way for your next door neighbor. Works that way for your next door neighbor's next door neighbor and everybody else in your neighborhood.
No, it
Why not
doesn't.
you, particularly, Adam.
Who does it not work for?
Who does it
Doesn't
not
work
work
for
for?
me.
The equinox.
I
Go
don't
ahead
see
and
it the way
explain
that
that.
you see it.
Prove it. Prove it.
There's
What
no
do you say?
way
We're
that
going
other
east to
ways
west.
you
It's
can see
going
it.
west to east for me.
How do you? Oh, man, what a contrarian.
That's a dumb dude right there. He doesn't get what we're talking
Really?
about, I don't think.
I mean, I'm
You
not
saying?
trying to be abusive, but this is really stupid right
No, I
now.
mean, I haven't been trying to be
You're not being
abusive for the past
retarded.
2.5 years, but I think I'm going to start getting a little bit abusive because I'm about sick of this dumb shit. Really,
No
just
swearing,
trying to be
please.
truculent, dumb
You're trying to
shit.
be truculent.
Maybe abuse is the only way to fucking straighten these knuckleheads out.
No
See, he
swearing.
swore.
That's
He just
why I'm
used
saying no
profanity.
Oh, I'm
swearing,
sorry.
because
I
of
forgot where I
exactly
was.
that.
Nathan. My apologies.
Are you gonna give me a
Knuckleheads,
warning?
I
You
didn't know
just
that was a
swore.
curse
You just
word.
used profanity.
No, I said effing
He's
right
being
after that.
truculent.
I tried
Oh,
not to
Nathan.
cuss, and then I said effing.
It's time to
He's
start
being
booting people.
truculent right now. He's being truculent.
Hey, Nathan, is
Yellow
swearing
flag on Graham.
acceptable if we use our sexy voice?
Use your what voice?
He's being very truculent
Our
right
sexy voice.
If you're not
Instruct-
emotionally charged, the whole point is to stop
He
you
is
talking
being
over each
very
other and getting
truculent.
agitated. That's the point of saying no
Use our
swearing. Not
bedroom
because I'm
voice.
offended by you saying the F word.
That's true. My bad. I
Yeah.
apologize.
You got cum all over your face, Dave.
So
Now, all right, that's kind of agitated, is it not?
that's rude.
All right, no,
He
no,
said,
wait,
"I got
wait, wait.
the
I want to
cum
talk to
thief."
Grim V because Grim V's actually got Grim V's 195. So I'd like to talk to Grim V because he can actually provide some arguments, something.
I was
worth-
trying, but you
something
wouldn't
worth
quit talking.
about. Yeah, stimulation. He can stimulate.
This
the
guy
brain.
keeps on trying to take a thing that I said out of context to try to trigger me.
What
with
did you
it,
say
the
then?
195.
Tell everybody what you said. Tell everybody what you said.
I said that IQ tests or evaluations don't really mean a thing
Yep. I got
because
evaluated
when
by
I
the
was a
army.
child in the 2nd grade, they gave me an IQ evaluation
Yeah.
and it was a 195.
195. 195. You know what?
And
You know what the
obviously that's not
military
true because
evaluated me?
look at me today.
You know
And
what?
then you take that
Well,
out
do
of
you know what the
context and you
military?
say that I'm saying that I have a 195 IQ. You're an ignorant
Well, you're the one that said it. I'm not
puss.
taking it out of context.
No, but
You're
I'm
the one
telling
that
you,
come out of your mouth.
but what I'm
You
telling
said
you
to
is
somebody else that you have
you're
a
taking it out of
195
context,
IQ.
right? You're taking it
I
out
got
of context.
evaluated by the
We
military.
can't
though,
hear
and
you,
I got a
Adam.
higher
It's,
IQ than you.
But you're
Adam,
taking it out of context just because I
But
did
I got a
well,
higher
did
IQ
well
than
on
you. If you
pattern
would have rated on
recognition.
scale,
Adam,
the
every time you
military
talk over somebody,
evaluated
nobody
my
can be
you're a rude
heard.
guy, man.
Adam,
You can
nobody can
keep
hear
your
you
little
saying
position.
anything. The chat is noting that they can't hear you, and it's because when you're talking over people, you can't be heard.
I know, because I'm so loud. I'm so dominant.
No, it's because I'm actually already talking. But anyway, so you
Go
take it
ahead,
out of
Chris.
context. It doesn't work, dude. It's another way to plea to the crowd. You're trying to plea to the crowd using social ridicule instead of an argument. That's called ad hom, dude. Why don't you stop and just
Adam
focus? Why don't you focus on the
Adam
actual
Hom. That's
topic?
not Adam Hom. That's ad
Why don't you
hominem.
focus on the facts and the topic?
195, my ass.
How do you see the equinox, Adam?
I see it going west to east.
Wow. Okay, what's your proof for that?
Did he
My
say
proof
that
is
for real?
well. My proof is that I see it. I see it. That's my proof, because proof is to compel the mind to assert something is true. And I'm not trying to persuade your mind. That's what my mind sees. Is it going from west to east?
I see. So you're utterly worthless.
Right.
To
Fantastic.
you, because you shouldn't depend on somebody else to give you
Well, there's a
solid
thing.
proofs or
Oh, wait, well,
evidences. If you want to
instead
be a
of saying
debate,
that,
if you
let's
want to
just
get
say
into a
that you're
debate
broken.
with me, then I'm willing to. But Grim,
We'll
what
just
I'd
say
like
that
to ask you
your
is,
mechanisms are broken. We couldn't rely on your directional senses. Is that what you're saying? Because your mechanisms are broken.
don't log in online and then give
The
in
sun
to
rises
false
from the west to
securities that you're
goes
gonna,
to the east, and where you're from.
that somebody. Yeah,
You're
it's
broken.
only online. Your persona's only online. It's all right.
All right. Well, how about
You're
this?
broken still.
Let's talk about something that Apor is interested
Wait.
in.
I want to ask Grim. I want to ask Grim
No,
if he thinks.
I
Let
was
Curve
talking
speak.
about-
I want to ask Grim.
No,
Adam, come
I don't
on.
care what
Let
you
Curve
want,
get a
Adam.
word in.
Does
Curve's
he
wait
think that-
patiently.
does
Just
he
let him
think-
speak,
Adam,
Adam. Please. Just let him get a word in.
Grim, do you think?
Oh, he's not going to listen to me. Adam, please let Curved Water get a word in. You've had verbal diarrhea for the last 20 minutes.
It's very quick and simple, Adam.
man.
What media company would you work for if anybody would hire you?
None. I don't work for any media company. I never
Which
would.
media company would you most like to work for? Because you're extremely envious of people that you claim without any evidence work for media companies. It's obvious.
BET.
I wouldn't like. Well,
Playgirl.
don't conspiracy-minded people, even you, Grim V, don't you say that media is corrupt and they
That's a good
provide
one.
propaganda?
Yes.
That was very good,
So
DC.
why would I
Playgirl
ever
is
want to
correct,
be?
as
Why
you
would I
said.
ever want to be involved?
I don't
in
hold
a
all the
media
same
company?
positions as everyone else on the panel.
I know, but why would I ever want to be involved in a media company then? If
Well, I
they-
didn't
if
ask you the
their- if
question.
their sole
I didn't
purpose
ask
is
you the
to
question,
provide
so I don't need to
propaganda-
steal the limelight. Curve to ask you the question.
Oh well, Curve's irrelevant because he's going to turn around and say he can trust CBC and NBSBC and whatever it is. He can trust all these 3-4 letter agencies. Companies.
That's not my
media.
position, Adam. So why do you make that claim? You have no evidence for it. You can't prove it. You're merely asserting it.
I can
and
prove
it can
I
be
can
merely
actually prove it. I can't
gratuitously
provide-
denied.
I can't
Hey,
provide
Adam,
evidence.
why
I
are
can't
you
provide
here?
evidence. I can't
Good to have you
provide
here, Louis,
evidence
by the way.
that shills exist.
Good
Listen, I
morning.
can't provide evidence that shills exist because that's true and false. I can provide you proof, and I've already provided proof.
Don't look a
with the
gift
people
horse in the
around me.
mouth.
With the people around me. All right. Well, I've got 2 people here right now, and I was able to give them rhetoric enough for them to believe that shills exist. That's proof. Proof is to compel
Alright.
the mind to assert something is true.
Ooh,
So-
Come on, Grim. You're supposed to be
wait.
195. Come on.
So you're here, Adam, in a debate. This is a debate, right?
Supposed to be,
Allegedly.
but nobody-
You're talking to the wrong person, Adam. I'm over here.
So what are you trying to convince the other side of? What are we debating?
Well, no, at the moment, I'm trying to wait for them to provide
Just listen for a
some
moment.
type of argument that we live on a globe.
Oh,
And then some argument that was.
but you're not. Are you open to being convinced?
Yeah.
No.
If
All
you
right. Are
provide
you
me
trying to
with a
convince
decent
us
argument.
that the Earth's
Yeah.
flat or not a globe?
No, I'm not trying
Lewis,
to lie.
Lewis,
I'm not
wake
trying
up.
So
to
why
lie.
are you here then? If you're not here to push your side of it, if you're not here to push your side of it, why are you here? Because I heard you
find the
before I
truth.
came on.
Just let him,
In
let him
fact, that's
talk.
why
Don't
I
be
came
so
on.
hard on people, Lewis. Chill out, relax.
I
To
came
find
on
the
Come on,
truth.
he's all
you
by
said-
himself almost. It's a bunch of
I'm not-
Globers in here against one. So
I'm
let's
not
try to
trying
be at
to-
least reasonable
Yeah,
enough
this-
to give him a fair shot.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I'm
it
not
looks like
trying
we're
to
just being
convince-
bullies and stupid.
Yeah, I'm not trying to convince you that the Earth's flat because I have no evidence that the Earth's flat. I can provide you proofs, but the same proofs that can be said about the flat Earth can be also said about the globe Earth, and it's vice versa. So I can ridicule the globe Earth the same way I can ridicule the flat Earth, and
Example?
it comes up with the same.
I
just want
rest
to
my
commend
case.
Lewis for not interrupting right there.
I rest my case. I don't need to be here after that.
You
High
don't
five.
need to be. I wonder why you ask me questions then. Bye, Felicia.
What can be applied to the globe that you say is applied to the flat Earth? What do you think
Well,
crumbles
what do you mean?
about the globe?
Well, I don't understand the way that you're trying to twist that. The same things that can be said about the globe Earth, like flat earthers. Or I'm not a flat earther, I'm a realist. But flat earthers turn around and say you have no real pictures of Earth from space. You have no real images from Earth from space. You have no real images of curvature. Well, the same thing can be said about the flat Earth. They have no real images of a flat Earth. They have no image from high enough to show evidence that their plane exists the way that they say they do. They have no evidence of a dome, just like the globers can't provide proof for a curve.
But we do.
You can't. Fake
But
mathematics
we do.
don't matter.
You reject it, but we do. That does not mean that we do not, just because
I reject
you
fake
reject it or
mathematics.
can't understand it.
I can comprehend.
Yeah, that's
Understand
good.
is
That's a good idea to
statement being
focus
made.
on
I
that.
don't stand under any. I don't stand under any statement that's
Let's
being
focus
made. I
on
can
making sure you
comprehend what you're saying.
understand the globe model first before you
I
reject it.
don't understand anything that you're saying. I can comprehend what you're saying. There's a difference. I don't stand under anything you're saying.
Well, I understand the semantics and
semantics. Yeah, we
the
can go
bridge
into semantics
making
all
and
you
the
want, but that's what it's
understand
really
and all
all
the
about.
semantics.
You're trying to get me into a debate, but you don't want to play semantics.
No, it's not
Come
about
on,
that.
be
It's
real.
about understand, overstand, Freemason, Freeman. We're not talking about that. We're granting the allowance of language. All right, we're not trying to
Oh, you're going to
fuck
grant.
each other.
All right.
Yeah, I'm actually reasonable, Adam. You've talked to me before. You know I'm
Yeah, I
reasonable,
know.
dude. There's
See,
no
that's
reason
why
to
I
be
like
unfair
having a
with me.
debate with you, Grim. That's why I like having a debate with you, because you're stimulating.
Oh, thank you. Titillatingly so.
You can get sexier than that,
You're
Grim.
making me
I don't know,
blush.
I almost made myself blush there. No, seriously.
Titillating.
I was trying to make my girlfriend blush. She's just left. She was leaving for work. She wasn't focused on it.
But Grim, do you believe that rockets work in space?
Well, I believe that the Joule Thompson effect
Elaborate. Can you please elaborate
is
for
a
everybody
real,
listening?
is a real thing, and that there's no work being done in a vacuum. But I don't believe that space is a vacuum. So
what do
that's
you believe
my
space is?
my main argument is that space isn't a complete vacuum.
So what is
because
space in your opinion?
well, it's a low pressure environment with ionized gas, well, hot diffuse gas or plasma, if you will, permeating the entire thing.
Can we get a rough estimate of what
if we
type of
were
low
to do-
pressure you're talking about?
There's plenty of experiments that show even in a low, what was the word that you used?
Low pressure environment that there's no thrust in a
low
vacuum.
pressure environment. There's
Right.
there's videos that show in a low pressure environment that rockets don't work.
Right. But then again, and I'm also on the camp that NASA lies. But again, it's what they're lying about is not the shape of the Earth. They're lying about, well, they're not just so much lying as just using other words. Instead of using electric current from the sun, they use solar wind when they're talking about the ions moving in a direction, which is electric. That's a
I know
current.
you believe in electric universe, but that's the thing that I don't get is you can accept certain things that NASA
I don't
says,
accept.
but
I don't just
Adam,
accept things on faith, though. I have.
You're accepting that they're saying that the Earth is round, but you don't accept the fact.
No,
that
it's
they
not
went
on
to the
faith,
moon.
though. I've actually verified this for myself, though, Adam. That's the point. That's
Yeah,
why
you,
I'm
that's
talking
what
about
I'm
it.
saying. You can you accept the fact that they can't get to space, but then you're going to accept their claims that
No, I
the
don't say
Earth
that they can't get to space.
what?
Again, I say that I'm in the camp that I'm saying that they just don't tell you about the actual technology that they're using to do the things that they're doing on those levels.
Okay, all right. So
So
what
I'm at the
technology they're using?
yeah, because I do believe that the Rosetta mission was real and that they landed on a comet, right? I do believe that NASA is doing shit in space and there's satellites and things like that that are going on. It's just that, you know, the mechanisms may be a little different as to how they're doing it. Could be a lot easier than we think, especially if it's an electromagnetic environment out there. It might be really easy to steer things and go, you know, different directions just by putting out, you know, cells, dielectric materials on.
So
different
my
forms.
claims. So my
types
claims
of
about the word gravity and it being false, and the way that you can substitute that word for centrifugal force and centrifugal force, centripetal and centrifugal force. You would agree with that then?
No, not really.
Well,
Different kind of
that fits
gravity.
right in with your
Well, no,
universe.
no, you're
theory.
talking about two different things. Well, it's really one of the same, but
What up,
two
pussy
different
nigga?
at the same time. You're
It's
conflating.
either one in the
Yeah,
same
nigga.
or it's not. Come on. It's either one in the same or it's not.
Well, the way you just used it, it's not.
Gravity doesn't
That's what I
exist
mean.
and can
Yeah.
be explained by centrifugal and centripetal forces.
No, gravity does exist, and it's a modality of the EM on acting only on the subatomic dipoles, the smallest of the
And how can and you can relate that you can relate that back.
saying?
You can relate that back to centrifugal and centripetal forces in their tiniest stages and even in microscopic stages.
Only if you're talking about it all being magnetism and you're looking at the operation of a bipole situation from north to south and you're talking about it that way, then it's
well, you don't really know how
the
north to
dipole,
south
which
lays.
is a dipole, which is a pole on the center of an outside shell of a pole, right? And the pole in the center
And you don't know
is
how
actually pulled down
how the Earth really
through
exists.
the
Who says
outside
that
pole.
it's not an inverse toroid? Who says that it's not
That's
an
why it's a
inverse
weaker
toroid?
force.
So
Who says that
one
it's not
pole
an
has to
inverse
work
toroid?
through
And then
the
that'll
other
make that
pole.
argument completely valid.
Imagine a circle. The North Pole is around the whole circle. South Pole is inside the inverse of the circle.
Yeah,
but the
if it's
South
an
Pole
inverse
is what's
toroid,
attracted.
exactly. If it's
Can you
an
stop talking?
inverse-
Yeah. Stop talking for just for a second. And the South Pole is what's attracted to the ground, but the South Pole is trapped within a North Pole, right? In a in a spherical North Pole. That's why. Remember when they just showed you what an electron looks like? It looks like it's a teardrop shape. It's got that oval shape. What they could get from the energy print. Well, this would show that would be a result. That's why it's that teardrop shape, because the outside is repelled away, but the inside is drawn towards the ground.
Can I please? I please want to respond to that, Grim.
because it's in movement at that time.
Yeah,
it's only that shape because it's in movement at that time. You
All
cannot get
right,
it
so
through
no. It's a teardrop shape because that's a field of potential of where its location might be. It could be anywhere from the end. It's least likely that it'll be at the. Listen. It's a graph. The teardrop is a graph. It represents the potential for it to be in a location between this point. Less likely here where it's a small end, and more likely in the beginning where in the bulge where
that's not its beginning.
on the teardrop, and then in the end again, it's less likely to be there. It's most likely to be in the middle, and they shape it as a teardrop to show. Look, can you stop talking when I'm explaining? I've been quiet this whole time.
Rebuttals need to be done, my friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that to you. And also, you think the Earth is an inverse spheroid with the sky in the center? Because that's what you've been describing.
You're talking about a teardrop when it's in motion. And then you
I was talking about the shape of an electron, which Grim brought up, and you started to say stuff about it, which you're not on the same page with Grim. You weren't even on the same page with Grim to begin with.
Talk about an electron at its beginning. How do you know it's a teardrop?
It's not a teardrop. Grim misunderstood the graph. It's when they show an electron or a subatomic particle, they represent it on a timeline as a teardrop to show the potential that it is in between this position and this position, because they're not sure where it's at.
Yep. I can understand that, but that's what I'm saying. It's in movement, so you can't define what it is, what an electron really is when it's in movement.
That's fine. We can define what it's not, and we can define what it might be because of what happens.
Doesn't make it true. Doesn't make what you say.
No, it doesn't. It means we can predict things, though, and that's what matters. So what can you predict, Grim, with your dipole, subatomic dipole interaction causing gravity? What can you predict with that?
That some materials would, dielectric materials would have accelerating towards Earth at particular angles would have gravitational anomalous gravitational properties.
So that would help with landing. That would help with landing on a comet, for example.
You can't even explain gravitational as a word, and you're going to use that in a sentence.
What about?
I'm talking about the actual mechanism for which you are pulled to the ground.
It's being brought back towards the Earth. It's being brought back towards
So
the
when
Earth.
I say gravitational, I'm saying interfering with the 32 foot per second square drop that you would be, receiving until you've reached a terminal velocity. That rule applies. I don't care what material you think you are. You're on Earth. We're representing that with the space called gravitational. It's a word placement, right? Since you know that we're having discrepancies with the actual, theoretical idea of what it really is. But we do know it's not flat Earth or buoyancy. We do know it's not buoyancy.
You could use centrifugal and centripetal forces. You could use those
we do
words.
know that.
Yeah, if the Earth's hollow and the sky is in the center, you can do that. Yes.
You can't define the Earth. You don't know what shape it really is.
It's a ball. The Earth is a ball in space.
Prove it.
I'll do my best.
It's like trying to prove something to a horse. Just because the horse
have you ever gone to the beach with a pair of binoculars?
Yeah, it doesn't mean shit. Yeah. What?
Well, when's the last time you went?
Let's say 6 months ago.
Are you sure?
No, but I'm just trying to get your argument out.
But part of my argument is to know when you have been to the beach with a pair of binoculars.
I just pissed on my pants. I just went to the toilet and pissed on my pants.
So have you been to the beach with a pair of binoculars?
Yes, let's say 6 months ago.
When was that? What did you do? Why did you go?
Because I wanted to be involved in your discussion right here, so I predicted that you were going to.
I have no reason to debate you. You're not even going one step with me.
Well, we'll just provide your argument.
I'm trying to, but you won't. You're not being. You're not reciprocating in any way.
Let's assume I have, or let's assume I haven't.
No, I need to know that you have.
Well, there's no.
I need you to tell me
know if I'm telling the truth or not. There's no real way that you can know if I'm telling the truth or not. So
yes, I can. Your reaction thus far has demonstrated that you're not telling the truth and you don't care to.
That's an
well, there you go. So then you've made your assumption. So let's progress with
all right. So proving it to you is unprovable. So somebody else, Grim, you've been to the beach, right? And you already know the Earth's round. Anybody who's been to the beach with a pair of binoculars can observe boats going over the horizon, and you can get around that pesky little thing where people say, but you can bring it back by zooming in. Well, if you keep watching it after you zoom in, it'll go over the curve again.
But then can you zoom in even more?
No.
Oh, because you've got limited sight. So then how are you going to tell me that it has?
No, it's because no. Okay, check this out, Adam. Adam, if you go up in elevation and stay on the same zoom, you'll still be able to see the boat.
When your limited sight has stopped.
Look, Adam, I'm trying to explain it to you, and you keep talking over me.
You've seen a boat go over the horizon because your limit of sight stopped.
What are the limits of sight,
Adam?
Adam?
See so far. Binoculars can only see so far, so you're going to tell me.
That's right. They can only see so far. So imagine you've got really good binoculars. Imagine you got really good binoculars, so good that the boat takes up the entire field of view when you're zoomed in.
Have you seen it with these binoculars?
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't. Don't.
All right, check it out. Imagine that the boat takes up the entire field of view of the binoculars.
No need to lie, Craig.
Been joined by Shroominati. Good to see you, Shroom.
You haven't actually You actually haven't actually been to the.
It doesn't matter. I don't
the
need
pair of
to. When you're
binoculars.
going to sit there and tell me that you've used a special pair of binoculars. that
They're not
nobody
special
else
at
can
all.
get.
They're not even a little special. They're just normal binoculars. That's what's so funny about
You
this.
can use normal binoculars that have limited sight, and then you're going to tell me that
They're fine. Their limited sight is good enough. Like that's the thing. Like they don't have to be perfect vision. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Goes past the point in when your binoculars can see.
All right, yeah, but I'm covering for that possibility, Adam. In this example, if you'd stop talking, you would understand that. Okay. Because imagine the boat takes up the entire field of view of the binoculars, so you can't zoom in anymore, right? And the boat takes up the whole thing. So it's not that it's passing out of your field of view, because it's not disappearing to the vanishing point. Yeah, all right, it's going behind the curvature of the Earth. It's going over the horizon. That's not reaching a vanishing point and disappearing because it's too small. That's not happening. And then if you elevate your position, it brings the boat back into view. You're not changing distance. You're not changing the zoom. You're elevating your angle of viewing. You're elevating your viewing angle. So right there is that's a clearest demonstration of curvature that you should ever need.
If Adam's dribble were correct, you would not be able to see the part of the boat that you can still see. It's not beyond your limit of sight, only the bottom that is obstructed by the horizon. It's a childish argument, Adam. You really need to understand what you're talking about better.
Just go down to your local estuaries or whatever and look out over the water at objects with your binoculars. Just you'll find yourself at a loss.
His arguments are bunk because he's talking about limited perspective, limited viewing range, and then saying.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about watching boats go over the curvature with your own eyes. That's what I'm talking about.
Bollocks.
Sorry, just to correct you, you just said using binoculars, then you said using your own eyes. So my understanding.
Well, you use your eyes to look through binoculars.
Sure, but we used to be led to the inference that it goes over the boat goes over the curve as you watch it with your own eyes, exactly as you phrased it. But then
depends on the size of the ship.
Fine. Yeah,
right,
depending on the size of the ship, you can watch it with your own eyes, but binoculars make it real easy.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, this is the point.
The whole argument's bunk. The whole argument's bunk because you're talking
the whole argument's not bunk.
This is the point.
Because you're talking about an object that has limited range in sight.
Yeah,
it's not limited enough that the boat disappears from view before it goes over the horizon. So it doesn't matter that we have limited sight.
I'm just going to bring this back into a concise argument. So the argument that flat earthers have is that we are told, exactly as you phrased it, that the boat goes over the curve and you can watch it with your own eyes. The flat earther argument is that you can then pick up a telescope and bring it back. And your argument further to that... Hold on, I've not made many points. Hold on.
I covered that with.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. All you've said is you need a special pair of binoculars.
All right.
You can see it go
not special, and I said that before too.
Well, people have done it, and they've brought it back into the point
seen exactly what I've described. They have seen exactly as I've described.
Listen, Adam, when you get smaller than
you're an ignoramus. You're an ignoramus because people have done it. People have done it. People have done it with the binoculars that you're talking about.
Adam?
It doesn't matter. I've seen it.
Yeah, it does. It does matter. Because I have.
I've done it. Just to please your argument, I've done it.
Why would you lie to me?
And then as soon as the binoculars limited sight, that range that the binoculars has, as soon as it surpasses that range, then the boat appears to go over horizon.
Are you in the jail again,
nigga?
It doesn't
actually go over horizon. It just fails to. The binoculars fail to perceive it through its perspective of vision.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good explanation, Adam. Thank you so much.
That was horrible.
Beat your bunk argument.
No, it didn't. You didn't even understand my argument, which is amazing because my argument was really simple.
It is.
That you can see a boat in binoculars go over the horizon, and the argument is no,
you can. I couldn't have said it better myself.
And with the camera,
you cannot. As
when
soon as the boat reaches the limit of the binoculars,
the camera, it
the
disappears.
binoculars have a viewing limit. Would you agree? Would you agree that the binoculars have a viewing limit?
Am I being heard?
Would you agree that the boat?
I hear you, Grim.
fit within that viewing angle and are not too small to see with the binoculars. Would you agree?
I'm just no. Would you agree that the binoculars have a limited range of viewing?
Yes. Now apply that
yeah.
to the facts.
There's questions.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. It has a limited range of viewing,
so-
just like a telescope, just like a P900, just like all of them. But
So
you can use a
after
P900 to
the
do this
object-
too, man. You can use a P900 to do this too. Just
after
keep
the object
waiting,
surpasses
keep
that
waiting to
limit-
zoom in on it, and keep waiting. All right, it will go over the curve. Just keep waiting. You guys are like, oh,
After the
I
object-
can't see this
after the
boat. Let's
object
zoom
is-
in on it.
after the
Oh,
object-
there it is. Time to go home.
After the object
when-
has surpassed that that limit. After
It's
the
not
object has
surpassed.
surpassed that limit, you cannot tell me
Because
what
they
happened
know.
to that object when
It's
it's
not
already surpassed the
surpassed.
limit of viewing from that object. So you're going to
Hey,
tell me
Adam,
Oh,
the binoculars
Adam,
has
so-
an X
you're
amount of
talking about
viewing limit,
situation
and then when something
where the
surpasses that,
boats
you're going to
still
tell me
actually
the
visible.
outcome
One at a time,
You're gonna tell me
please.
the result of something when it's surpassed the limit of its viewing
Nope.
distance.
Then why
If
can
that
you
was
still
true,
see
excuse
part
me,
of
can
it?
I say something? If that were true, then we wouldn't be able to see, let's say, towers that are beyond the horizon, because they would be beyond our viewing. But we can actually
But
see
they're not
them.
beyond the viewing then.
They're-
Obviously, they're not beyond the viewing distance. Obviously,
So-
that's
and that
what you're
well,
getting
that
wrong.
distance,
You're
the distance for the
misinterpreting.
buildings.
You're
Listen,
not- you're
Adam, Grim just made a great point. Grim made a great
You're
point. All right,
misinterpreting
he
it.
said
No,
the
you're
buildings are
misinterpreting.
farther away. The buildings are farther away than the boats, but yet we can still see them, right? And the boats we can't see because they're behind the curvature. The boats are within the viewing angle, which that the buildings are within excuse me, the
The whole
buildings are
argument-
within the viewing angle, and that means the boats are too because they're closer than the buildings.
The viewing range.
No, because you're talking about. You're actually talking about
Physics.
No. You're talking about something that has other factors involved in it. So you're talking about
Like what?
refraction. You're talking about waves. You're talking about interference that you're
And
not
we
accounting for at
calculate
any
those.
point. At
Yeah,
any
all
point
those-
right now, a
those are
tower,
all
a
negligible.
tower
Those are
might be able to be
calculated
seen.
for and in
Tower
reason.
might be able to be seen at that point because it's higher than a certain point,
hard for you.
and
So-
then the objects that may be intruding on it, all right, they might be in its way. All right, so waves, obviously you've got to account for waves, but that's what you fail to do. You're talking about.
Well, I mean, the ocean's flat,
plane is
right? And
apparently
you're
flat.
talking about
apparently
waves.
flat in your eyes. In your eyes, it's
Well,
apparently
you're
all
talking
flat
about
to the
waves
point
that
where it
needs to
doesn't- it
be.
doesn't suit your
You're talking
narrative.
Adam, you're talking about waves that need to be, 30, 40,
127
50.
meters.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
Not over a
yeah,
distance.
127
Not
meter
over a
waves.
distance. No, not
Yeah,
over a
you're
distance.
talking about waves that
Not
need to be
over a
basically
distance.
hills.
Yeah.
At
Not
43,
over a
at
distance, not over a
47.35 kilometers
distance.
away, you're talking about 127 meter waves
Not over a distance when they accumulate. Not over
on
a
a tower.
distance.
That's 300
Listen,
meters
You're
tall.
talking about
If
something
you
over
had a
distance
wave that was
accumulates.
that tall, we would be able to see that wave,
Do the
and we
math.
would have
That's
to
real
climb
math. I'm
up.
telling
Waves
you right
over
now,
a
by the
distance
way.
that
I'm
accumulate.
not just
You
making
haven't
numbers up.
counted these into your equations.
Am I?
I don't need an equation to look at a boat go over the horizon with a pair of binoculars.
It didn't go over the
That is
horizon. It
boring.
went underneath the waves
It-
of your perspective.
No, it
waves
went
too
over the
far away have
horizon.
covered
It
up.
went right over the horizon, and I zoomed
What do you
in
have to lose,
all the
Adam?
way, and it didn't come back because I waited long enough. All you flat earthers, you
No,
have
no,
the
what
same
you've done
problem.
is
You
you just
just
waited-
don't wait long enough. It's amazing.
Uh,
You go,
what you've
you
done-
look at the
what you've
boat, and
done-
you're like, oh, I was able
It's like
to
a
bring it
Monsanto
back.
safety
And
study.
then you go home.
4 months
It's
and they
like
cut
no,
it.
done-
stay and
what
keep
you've done
watching.
is just
the
waited
boat
till the
leaves.
item that you were looking for it's exceeded its limiting views, and
Okay,
then you're
show me
trying
your
to
best
say that you
example.
can define something.
Show me your
after
best
something's
example, and I'll
limiting views.
continue.
It's exceeded its limiting views.
If I can't
All right,
debunk
it's
it.
exceeded its limits, and then you're going to tell me what something
It
occurred
hasn't-
after exceeding limits.
It hasn't exceeded its limits.
It has. So you're going to tell me that you can see.
Can we
a
ask
ship
you,
go over
Adam,
the
for your
horizon
best
through
example of
binoculars when
this,
they've already-
please?
it's
Well,
already
I
exceeded its
already brought it
limiting
up. I
Let's
said
push
if you
that.
elevate your angle, if you elevate yourself, you can then see it again, demonstrating
Hold on.
it has not gone beyond the viewing angle.
No,
or-
just
or
that
the
just
viewing
no,
distance.
no. That just.
Can you
that
just give us your
explains that
demonstration
if
of your
you
best
take out-
example, please, so that we can
if
take
you
a look
take
at it for
out
ourselves?
less-
Because I'm
less
obviously not going to take
interference-
your word for it,
All right,
Adam.
if you take out less interference by
don't think
say
anybody is.
waves and whatnot, by rising, all right, by rising and height and raising your height and taking less interference by
So
waves
it's
and
just always
atmospheric
waves.
refraction,
It's always
then
waves.
you may be able to see the object for a little bit further.
Makes
But
no
that
Shouldn't
sense,
still
Adam.
things-
account
Sorry.
Shouldn't things that
it's-
float, if there are all these waves out there that always obscure things, shouldn't things kind of like slide down a water hill towards the shore if they float? Like everything, shouldn't it all just kind of slowly come towards Earth, towards
So
land?
it's north
What
uphill.
do you mean?
Well,
do you mean?
because
It goes
you're
both ways.
implying
It goes
that there are
both
all
ways.
these
The waves don't
waves
just go
out
one
there.
way.
You're implying that
The
there are
waves
these
just don't
waves
go
out
just
there
one
that are
way.
obscuring people's vision to see things
the
over
waves don't
long
go just one
distances,
way.
and
What are you
that
talking
that
about? Waves don't
implies
go
a
just one
difference in
way.
elevation, right? So that's a slope, and
Adam,
things
do you
that
think the
float,
salt
wouldn't they
plains are flat?
naturally go down that slope? Like
No,
what
but
you're
you're not. So
describing
you're not
would cause
talking
a
about a
whole
wave.
lot
The
of
way
other
a wave
things to
actually
occur
exists.
that
Do you
don't
think the
You're not
occur.
salt
talking
plains are
about.
flat?
No, you're not talking about a wave the way that a wave actually exists, because a wave is not
Oh,
just a slope. It's a slope on
Do you
two
think
sides,
Foucault's
isn't it?
pendulum doesn't represent the physics to show the spin of the Earth?
Beg your
you
pardon?
know,
No pendulum. No pendulum actually.
Do you think the sun
proves
gets
any type
further
of-
and closer to you during the day?
Beg your pardon?
Do you think the sun and moon get further and closer to you throughout the day?
Sort of. I can't really explain what happens with the sun and the moon because I haven't been able to go higher than them and define what they actually
have you
are.
been able to go to the beach with a pair of
Have you
binoculars?
been able? Wait a minute. Can I grab this line of questioning for a second? Have you just for a second? Have you ever seen any?
So this show will run for another approximately 10 minutes. If you would like to join the show to troll or to express your views on the shape of the Earth, feel free to do so. There is a link in the info box below this video. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Sorry to interrupt you guys, I'm going to transition back, but if you've got any cutting points that need to get across, you need to do it in the next 10 minutes or so.
Have you ever noticed that objects, when they're closer to you, perceptually they look bigger, and then when you move them away from you, perceptually they get smaller? All objects in the universe behave this way to your perception. Why wouldn't the sun and moon comport to that reality?
Well, they do, really. They do.
No, they don't.
Okay.
Actually do.
Where's your proof?
Exactly. He keeps going. What happens? Wait, before you ask him that, we're going to say at camera.
They do. If I look at the
We're gonna
moon,
say
it's
automatic
big one time, it's
resolute
big-
exposure.
I'll ask my friend.
I
that's
know.
sitting here
I
with
didn't
me.
ask you.
No,
I didn't
listen,
ask
I'll
you
ask
that
my
yet.
friend. I know you want to see proof. I'm going to show you what proof really means. I'm
I
gonna
didn't ask
my
you
friend
yet
that's
for
sitting
that. I'm
Stop.
still
Lynn,
talking.
195. Stop, please, and listen. All right.
Auto
when you see the
exposure
moon,
does
Dave,
not count
So just stop for a second.
on
Just stop for a
camera.
second. When you see the moon,
Welcome to the
Dave, all right,
show.
is it sometimes bigger and smaller? It varies in size.
Not throughout
Not
the
over
day.
the course
Wait,
of
wait,
a
wait,
single
wait,
pass.
listen to this.
Not much.
Does the moon vary in size?
Not
No.
throughout the
Oh,
day.
but you're bunk. Your whole
Throughout the
argument's
year.
bunk. That's, you know what that is? That's proof. That's proof.
No,
Compelling the mind
Adam,
to assert
no.
something is true.
It's
Sorry to
actually
say,
it's
you
the
are-
No.
opposite. It gets smaller. It gets smaller as it gets higher up in the sky, only because the atmosphere is thinner at the rest
doesn't.
of your head.
Oh, so you're
It
going to
doesn't
say
get
that there's
smaller
It's not
when it
getting
goes up in the
smaller
sky.
as it goes towards
you're
the.
going to talk about factors that make things
But it's not
seem
getting
smaller and
smaller.
larger, but you won't
No.
equate with that with the horizon and whatnot.
That's not.
That's right.
Well,
That's
argument's
right. I
fine.
wouldn't equate that with the
Argument's
horizon because it's a different location. It's a
Right.
different place,
Doesn't
and it's
matter.
something
It
else is
doesn't
happening, and we
matter.
can
It
we can make
doesn't
different
matter.
prediction based
It's
on
an
what's
easy
happening
demonstration,
with the
Adam.
atmosphere up in the
It's
sky
You-
versus
You like
the
hearing the
atmosphere
sound
right
of
next
your
to the
own
ground.
voice. You like hearing the sound of your own voice. You're so bummed. You,
That may be
projecting.
true,
Black
but it
and white,
doesn't make
you
him
are bummed.
wrong.
I would rather listen to Grim
He's
V and
projecting.
him tell me that I'm wrong than
Well,
you. With your
Sublimate.
That's
bunk,
that's
your whole
fine.
argument.
Then why are you here? You're
You're
just
so
here. We're having a
arrogant.
debate
You're so
here. I'm just.
arrogant. You actually think
I'm
that
sorry
you're right,
if I'm
but you
arrogant.
know,
Your mouth.
you've
I'm
got
sorry if
no
I'm
room
arrogant.
for
Please respond to the
improvement.
points
You've
I
got
make.
no
Sorry
room for
if I'm
improvement.
arrogant.
Don't make him
Respond to
rage
the
quit.
points I make.
I already have, and you won't actually accept it. And then when it doesn't suit your narrative, all right, then you bring in the same
What
arguments
narrative?
that I was saying about how you cannot see the shit
Your
because of
script.
atmospheric
Lewis
refraction
has
and
a
other
script.
factors. And then you want to
Yeah, you
say
haven't
that
said
about the
anything,
moon and the
Adam.
sun, but it doesn't suit your equation. It doesn't suit your agenda with the horizon
What
and
agenda?
boats, but it suits your agenda with the sun and the moon,
Relax.
so it's all right. Your whole argument is bunk.
Yeah, no. I understand refraction and atmospheric lensing. You don't.
Here we go. You don't. That's why you love the sound of your own voice. You think that you're right, but you actually.
Is that
like
your argument? Because
130s,
if that's your
140s.
argument, you're
Well,
failing.
you
about
think that you're
130s,
right too.
140s.
You think that you're right too,
What
so
about
you love the
130s,
sound of your
140s?
voice
Time
too.
I
here,
like
guys.
playing with Grim because he's 195. All right. I like playing with
Do
Grim
you
because
do you
he's
think you're right,
195.
A4?
You're like
You think
about
you're right,
one-
A4?
A4 probably knows he's wrong, but he argues anyway.
A4, you just like me, let's say you think you're right too, right? So you love the sound of your voice too.
I don't think I'm right. I don't think I'm right. That's the point. I don't think I'm right. You think you're right.
Oh. Yeah, I do think I'm right. Everybody should.
Okay,
think
you don't have an
right.
argument.
If you don't think you're right, why are you having a debate
in a
with people
debate
who
room
do?
telling everybody else they're wrong? But you
I'm
can't
not saying
explain
you're
or
wrong. I'm
demonstrate how
arguing
they're
against
wrong.
your points. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm arguing
You're not arguing
your
against the
points and
points.
giving
You're
you,
just saying, no, I don't like
you
your
points
points.
that are against your points. I'm giving you
You
points
know, you're
against
basically,
your
all I'm
arguments,
hearing is,
and
no,
you
I don't
can't
like your
handle it.
points.
You can't handle it. At
Misrepresentation
first,
of
you
physics,
said that you can't see
misrepresentation of
boats over the
physics, i.e.
horizon.
I don't like your points. That's all
the
you're
boats
saying
go
to
over
me.
horizon, and then you talk
I don't know
about
what I'm
gibberish,
I don't know what
and
I'm
then I
talking
prove you
about.
wrong
That's all
on
you're
that.
saying.
All right, and then you go
Through
around
your
and say
other
the moon
words.
doesn't change size, and then I make
Right,
prove you wrong, and then you
conceptually,
want to turn
it
around
gets
and say it's
You, to be fair,
vanish, right? It
To
should
be
vanish
fair,
as a tiny little dot. It should never set, actually, at that size and rate. And
You-
even if it's only 3,000 miles up, you would never see it hit the ground.
These guys love the sound of their own voice. They think that they're right.
Well, that's the
you
truth.
asked me for
You
proof.
need to learn how to do a little
Right?
bit of math.
It does take this like
You-
like boats go over
You can
the,
cut.
go
You
over
can
the
get distance
Right.
ratios by
All they
using
do is
hypotenuse,
linear
by using
size.
angles in a
You just said
triangle.
if-
As long as you know you're starting with one
That's
right
not much
angle,
cut far enough. You're not
you
gonna
can
be able
find
to see
ratios
it.
and distances.
If I was a fucking hole,
too,
you know
but
what I mean? Like,
that's
far enough. I'm not gonna be able to see the cup. If I
No
Truth
just-
or not
swearing,
true,
please.
I'd like
But
to
it's
hammer
certainly
out
not
the
as
differences. I'd like to
scary
hammer out
as
the
it
differences
sounds.
between atmospheric lensing and refraction over the surface of the water. I'd like to hammer that out so that A4 can have an
Let's
understanding
hammer
of that.
He's not gonna.
Yeah, but I'd like to try.
No.
So
The
when you
angel of
look up
Cain.
in the
That's
sky,
the blood of Cain.
you're looking through the least amount of atmosphere when you're looking straight up. And as you decrease your viewing angle, doesn't matter what direction.
Can I interject? You're talking about
Sure.
viewing through. You're talking about viewing through the Van Allen belt. So how are you talking about the least?
No, I'm talking about the atmosphere. The Van Allen belts
the
are
atmosphere. So
outside
you're
of
talking
the
about viewing
atmosphere.
through the. You're talking about viewing through layers and layers. So let's go through it. You'd know more about what they call.
Can we
ionosphere,
see the Van
stratosphere.
Allen belts, Adam?
The
Can we
bio-
see Can we see the Van Allen belts?
Well, they limit our view. That's for sure.
How? In what way?
Well, every single layer of the atmosphere limits our view.
They're not part of the atmosphere.
Dummy.
They're part of an atmosphere. All right, they go in layers.
No,
What's
they're
the
not.
layers? Let's go up.
They're
It
not
goes
part of
from
the atmosphere.
Adam, you guys
ionosphere, the
don't talk on things you don't know about,
stratosphere, blah,
Adam.
blah, blah, sphere. All right.
Stick to
They
the
are
things you think you know more about.
absolutely
Really,
100% not part of the atmosphere. They are categorically not part of the atmosphere.
Sorry.
They're part of their own atmosphere, and you're going to tell me that they don't have.
No, they're part of the
Wow.
heliosphere.
When you're talking about looking at the
Your
sun,
interjection
when
is
you're talking
moot.
about
I would
looking at the
love
sun
to
and the moon,
continue
you're gonna tell
on
me
with
about
my
viewing through the
explanation
stratosphere,
about
the
atmospheric
ionosphere.
lensing and refraction. I would love to continue with my explanation.
As much as I hate to say it, let Lewis speak.
If you can elaborate on what layers there are for me, so I can then argue against.
No, I'm not going to. I'm going to continue to make points about refraction and
Remember,
atmosphere.
Adam, you interjected. Can I moderate for a second? Adam, you interjected. Can you just pause your interjection?
Adam,
You made a good point.
Adam, your interjection has nothing to do with what I was talking about.
They have, you're trying
Adam,
to say
you're a
is there's
shill,
5
dude.
layers of.
All right.
You're a
Please
troll
explain to
shill,
me,
dude.
Adam, please explain
You
to
know
me
what, Adam?
how the Van Allen
You
belts
just
are
fucked,
part of the atmosphere. Explain to me how the Van Allen belts are part of the atmosphere.
That word.
They're part of their own atmosphere. There's layers, right? There's layers. So when you look
All
up
right.
into the
Do you know what an
sky,
atmosphere is?
The fuck, dude.
it's weather conditions. It has to do
Right.
with weather.
Composed of.
Yeah, but it's a sphere. It's a sphere,
Composed
though.
of-
Adam. That's the point.
No, but that's
What's
what
the-
that's
We're
what it's
talking about the
composed of?
atmosphere all the time, as if you
That's
don't
what it's
realize
depicted
we're talking
as.
about a
That's what it's depicted
sphere.
as a sphere. That's what it's depicted
What
as.
is an atmosphere composed of? What
You know you're talking
materials make an atmosphere?
Conceded to the globe like 19 times. and
Well,
didn't
you
realize
can't tell me exactly what it's made up of either. It could be made up of
Gas.
H2O,
I'll
it
give
could
you
be
a
made
hint.
up of,
Gases.
all
What is
different
it made of?
elements. It could be made up of all different
Gasoline.
elements. Could be made up of all different elements for all we know.
Yeah, it's not. But I mean, how do you? Okay, all right. Let me interject for a second, Adam. How do you know that any of the chemistry theories or subatomic particle theories or atomic theories are true? Because we can't see any of those particles. So why accept that and not any of the other stuff?
Well, they're actually doing it on ground
Could have
level.
just made a qualifier.
Oh, so because they're doing it on the ground. Oh my God.
They're doing it on ground level. They're doing it on ground level. How are you going to tell me that they're able to go up?
But you can't see it. You can't see it. They could just be making it up. There could be something else entirely going on that they're obscuring from you, and they're telling you it's all this complicated stuff.
They could be, but it's more plausible to believe something that's going on the ground and the measurements that they're trying to achieve from the ground level than something that they're saying is occurring in the sky when they actually haven't been there.
Just because it's far away from you. Does a magician have to be out of sight? How are you going to tell me that? Does a magician have to be out of sight to trick you?
How are you going to tell me the sun is a star when you've never been to the sun?
Because it shares similar properties to all the other bright lights in the sky.
At least the person that's experimenting on iron and other elements.
Adam, you've managed to derail my initial conversation off of the atmosphere, which is kind of funny.
Based on the fact that they've got the element. They've got the elements. So they've got iron and they've got gold. And they're going to experiment on these elements. All right. You're telling me that you can define what something is when you haven't even been there or even been able to.
Have you ever looked through a microscope? Have you ever looked through a microscope? Adam,
Lewis, just make your points. Adam doesn't even believe he's right. He doesn't even think he's right. There's no point in him talking. Just make your points, dude. Just make your points.
So when you look out over the water, you have a layer of cooled air that sometimes results in warped images coming from extreme distances over the horizon. They're magnified and they're slightly blurry and
because
slightly translucent.
Air, right?
It's because the light's bending through the cool layer of air directly over the horizon. Now, if you elevate your observer height, that disappears because you're no longer looking through that cool layer of air. So that's how atmospheric refraction comes into play.
And
when you're looking at things over water, so you've been
able to see that city and
absolutely. So have you. You just didn't know that that's what you were looking at.
Go get a video on it and prove it, and then flat Earth's bunk.
Another way it comes into play is that sunrise or sunset. You're not actually looking at where the sun is.
When you say that all you have to do is raise your
I'm not gonna do something that costs me money, right? For other people for free because they have
And with that, I am going to say an enormous, massive, huge thank you to all of you who have joined us in the live show. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show, and if you'd like to join future debates, there is a link in the info box below each of these live shows. If you're new to Nathan Oakley, be sure to subscribe, and once this video is rendered, be sure to leave a comment below. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.